So, what we're going to be doing with these three problems are composing functions. Okay, and the directions say find, and then this little thing right here, the way you pronounce it is f of g of x. F of g of x. Alright, and there's a big difference between this one, and let me show you, and this one. This one's asking you to do what? Multiply. So closed dot means you're multiplying the functions. Open dot means that you're composing the functions. So please don't get those mixed up on your quiz on Friday, okay? So for f of g of x, the first function we're looking at is the first one they list. So in f of g of x, the first function we're looking at is f, which is what? Good. I'm going to put negative 3, and instead of my x, I'm going to put a parentheses. Alright, and what they want you to fill in for this x in f of x is the entire g function, g of x, which is what? Good. And now all we have to do is clean it up. What do I mean by clean it up? Which you'll get what? Good. That's all. So when you compose functions, pretty much you're plugging a function inside of a function. That's what it's asking you to do. Yeah, now we got to do g of f. Correct. I'm going to write g function instead of x. I'm going to put what in for it? Good. And now we got to clean it up, so we'll have what? 15x minus 6. Great job. Is there any? Yeah, go ahead. Am I always going to change what sign now?
The, sign in there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I wrote a negative 5. JK. Thank you for pointing that out. No, you don't change it at all. Alright, any other questions? Okay. So, yeah, you take this function and you're plugging in f to g. This function, you're taking f and plugging in g. Yep. You're taking f, and f of g, you're taking f and plugging in g to f. And g of f, you're taking f and plugging into g. Alright. You're going to do one of these on your own, so pick which one you want to do together. 3? Okay. So f of g of x we'll do first. So again, we're looking at what function? F, right? And instead of x right here, I'm going to put what?
X squared.
Parentheses first, so we won't get confused. Plus 3 parentheses plus 1. So all I did was replace all the x's with parentheses, and now I'm plugging in g, which is what? X squared. And now just clean it up, which means just simplify. So x squared squared, x to the 4th, this would be, and then plus 1. That's it.
What do you multiply x squared by square again?
When you raise a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So 2 times 2 would just be 4. Yes, Antonio? Okay. Everybody good with that one? Alright, don't let me down on the next one. Alright, g of f. Does that make you nervous when I say that? Oh, okay. No, if I not g of f. If I say don't let me down. Okay, I won't say it anymore. Okay. So instead of x right here, I'm going to put a parentheses and put squared on the outside. And what am I going to fill in? Alright, so to clean it up, it'll just be x to the 4th plus 9x squared plus 1. Why? When do you fold? Is this a binomial?
No.
It's a trinomial.
Would you do right?
Yeah, you just write it twice, right? So x squared plus 3x plus 1 times x squared plus 3x plus 1. Good. Because when you square something, it's just something times itself, right? You can't distribute that squared. That's not how life works. Okay. So g of f of x. We're going to start by, well, how do we multiply this? We'll have to start by doing what? Yeah, distribute the x squared to all terms, distribute the 3x to all terms, distribute the 1 to all terms. So let's start with x squared times all three of these terms. X to the 4th, what else? Good. X squared. Alright, now 3x to all the terms, that'll be what? Keep going. Plus. Good. Y'all stop me if you have a question or don't understand how we got something. And then the last one, we distribute the 1 to all of them. That's just going to give us this whole thing down here. So x squared, 3x, and 1. And let me zoom out some. And now we just combine our like terms. So my first term will be, alright, let's go ahead and mark that one out. We have 2 terms with x cubed. That'll make what now? 6x cubed plus, very good. Good. Very good. Any questions about that one? Alright, you're doing 2 on your own. And let me know if you have questions. If you don't know how to do it on your own, please raise your hand and get help. I figured out why y'all take, some people take like 2 years to finish a test. And it's because the first time you attempt it is on the test. So please attempt it now so you can practice it so you won't take 2 years on a test. Chris. Just kidding.
Oh. I think I did okay on the test this last time.
Let me know if you need help.
You're doing it right.
No, it's just got like it has like these. Yeah, really like those.
Almost.
No, that's 1%.
This is the function of f, right? What I want you to do is write this function, the f function, except instead of x, put a and what
No,
we
it's
think.
definitely
Good. And now what would you put in place? Great job.
Y'all need more time?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, I'll take 2 years.
Keep going. This is one of the things. I think it is when you don't distribute it. You don't distribute it. Just add.
Oh, is that?
Well, did you add this with this? Yes. You distribute it, right? You only distribute if it's multiplying dollars, just saying what? Okay, good, so you would only add it to which term, which term did you add it to? Good, and then everything else. Almost. Oh, yeah, you're both good. Yeah, go ahead, combine
Alright, bring it on in. Bring it in. Let's do it together. Alright, Isabel. For f of g, tell me what you wrote down. Not the final answer, but like how you worked it.
Alright, so for parentheses and then you have x squared plus 3x minus 10x, or minus 10, sorry.
Good.
And then you're going to put plus 4.
Great job. And it wasn't just y'all, all of my classes asked, do you distribute the 4? Can somebody tell me why you wouldn't distribute it?
Because it's not in the.
Good, you're not adding it, you are adding it, you're not multiplying it. If this did not have a plus sign here, so I'm going to try to cover it up, and it was just a 4 beside the parentheses, then you would distribute it. Good. So the only thing you can add this 4 to is what? So that would make, good. I think everybody got that one, right? Okay. Great job. All right, for g of f of x. Shem, tell me how to set up the problem before we work it out.
I plugged in x plus 4 wherever x is equal to x plus 4 squared
Mm-hmm.
plus 3 x plus 4.
Good. So this right here would be x squared plus 16? No. You have to do what? You have to fold it. Good. So you would get what if you fold this? Perfect. This you would do what with the 3? And get, and then you have that minus 10 on the end. Questions before I simplify that? Okie dokie. Go ahead, Antonio.
Okay. X squared.
Plus Chris.
11x.
Plus
18.
good. Raise your hand if you got that on your own. Good. Okay. Any questions? So we're good with composing functions. Alright, let's start 6.2. We won't get to do a lot with 6.2, but we're going to go ahead and get started at least. Does anybody need to see 6.1 notes, like that missed something or wasn't here yesterday, that needs to copy it?
I do.
Okay.
The question is this hard? Is it gonna be like hard?
Yes, these first two are very difficult. Alright, so to find the inverse of a relation, and let me explain the difference. We have inverse relations and inverse functions.
Was that just a dry sarcasm or you being?
Alright, inverse relations are dealing with coordinate points, okay? That's the difference between an inverse function. You're dealing with functions. Again, inverse relation is coordinate points. Inverse function is an actual function. Alright, so let's work these two. These are finding the inverse of relations. Are these coordinate points, Antonio? Yes, they are. Alright, to find the inverse relation, all you do is swap your x and y. So this will be 10, negative 9, negative 3, 1, and negative 5, 8. This is the inverse relation. Questions?
Question.
That's it? So here the inverse relation would be that's it. Those are inverse relations. Alright, and inverse functions aren't really that difficult either. They only have 2 steps. And I'm going to have you write them out to the side because this really isn't a good representation of the steps to follow. So, any questions about 1 and 2? Cool. Alright, step 1. These are inverse functions. 1, swap your x and y. Just the x and y, not the coefficient in front of x, not the coefficient in front of y. Just swap your letters, x and y. And then 2, solve for y. And let me ask you something. What does it mean to solve for a variable? No. What does it mean to solve for x?
To get it by itself.
To get it by itself on one side of the equal sign. No coefficients, no numbers, no adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Just get y on one side by itself. Okay, so for step 1, swap x and y. F of x is the same thing as what? Alright, so let's just rewrite this as y equals 2x minus 5 because it was confusing my other classes that f of x and y are the same thing. Okay, so step 1, we're just going to swap x and y. So instead of y, we'll write what?
X.
And instead of 2x,
2y.
good, minus 5. That's step 1. Again, we didn't change the numbers, we just swapped the letters. And then step 2 is just solving for y. So the first thing we'd have to do is what? Add 5. So we get x plus 5 equals 2y. And then to solve for y, just divide everything by 2. So on this side, we'll get what? On this side?
X plus 5 divided by 3.
Good. We cannot simplify this, 1, because 5 can't go into 2, but also, if you're going to simplify something, this coefficient and this number have to both be divisible by 2 to simplify it. Okay, so what is this coefficient?
1.
And it's not divisible by 2, and neither is 5. So we leave it like this. That's it. That is the inverse function.
So h of x is the same thing as f of x.
Correct. So it's the same thing as what? Y. Alright, any questions about that one? Alright, so this one we're gonna, I'm gonna rewrite this as y equals x minus 4 over 3 because h of x is the same thing as y. Alright, for step 1, we're gonna swap x and y. So Darian, tell me how to rewrite it.
X equals 3x.
Just swapping the letters. So it'd be x equals, instead of x, Somebody help them out. Good. Y minus 4 over 3. So not changing the equation, just swapping the letters. Alright, to solve for y, what do we do first?
You add the 4. You multiply 3.
Good. We couldn't add 4 because this is not 4. This is 4 over 3.
Negative.
So, yeah, negative 4 over 3. So we multiply both sides by 3 first. 3 times x would be 3x. What happens when we multiply this by 3? And you'll have, very good. And then we add 4 to both sides, so we'll have 3x plus 4 equals y.
I was thinking like something different.
And this is the inverse function of x minus 4 over 3. Any questions about inverse functions?
Where did you get the answer?
What now?
How did you get 3x plus 4?
From here? Here's our y, and we had to get it by itself, so we needed to move the 4. And to move it to the other side, we have to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So over here it'd be plus 4. And if we added 4 to this side, it would cancel out. Any other questions? Alright, flip. We'll do these two together, then you're going to do 3 on your own. Alright, again, I'm going to rewrite this as y equals negative 5 over 3x minus 8. Gracie, what would I have for step 1? Yeah, negative 5 over 3y. Okay, what about on this side? Good. Any questions about step 1? Alright, Mackenzie, how do I get y by itself? Good. First we add 8 to both sides. So we get x plus 8 equals negative 5 over 3y. Will Morris, how do I get y by itself? By what? Oh, okay. So divide everything by negative 5 over 3, right? What would be easier?
Multiply by 3.
What would be easier than that? Good. No, not negative 5/3. Alright, listen. We could multiply everything by 3, right? But then we'd have to divide everything by negative 5, right? I want to teach y'all the quickest way to do things. We need this to be what?
Just
1. We need it to be 1.
So you add 5 to
No.
negative 3 over 5.
Good. Because that's the what?
Flexible.
The reciprocal. Good. The reciprocal of negative 5 over 3 is negative 3 over 5. Do y'all remember what happens when we multiply something by its reciprocal?
Yeah.
We get what? 1. Good. That's what we wanted, right? Y to be by itself. The reciprocal, again, is just a fraction flipped upside down. The sign doesn't change. It's just flipped. Does everybody understand that? How it would be 1 if you multiply them?
So it's going to be negative 3 over 5 x.
It wouldn't be plus 8, because are we multiplying this negative 3 over 5 just by x? No, by both of them. So it'd be negative 3 over 5x. And what is 8 times negative 3 over 5? Negative 24 over. Good. Very good. The 24? 8 is the same thing as 8 over 1, right? So negative 3 times 8 would be negative 24. 5 times 1 would be 5. Any other questions? Alright, last one together. Let's rewrite it first. And then, Morgan, how would this look after step 1? Perfect. Megan, how would I solve for y? What do I got to do first? Subtract 4, so we get x minus 4 equals y squared. And then we must do what? Square root it. Good, square root it. It's not the same thing. Squaring something would mean actually squaring it, raising it to a power. Square root is taking the square root. Okay. Alright, what's the square root of y squared? Y. Can we simplify square root of x minus 4?
You came with the negative 4.
We could if they were two separate terms, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's a binomial, it's not a monomial.
So you just leave it alone.
So we just leave it. Yeah. Square root of x minus 4. That's it. Y'all feel good about these? Yes? Great. Okay. Try these 3 on your own. Flip it and where it says independent practice, you're going to try these on your own. If you get done and you want to know if you've done it correctly, just let me know. But I'm going to have 3 people come up here and